You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 708.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door, with your host, Captain Jet, broadcasting live from APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded the week of May 11th, 2026.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. It's your light and it's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, a Frontier flight rolling for takeoff in Denver kills a trespasser walking on the runway.
Frontier 4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody.
Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and lock positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 708 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter currently at the number one all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in New York City. Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, former U.S. Air Force pilot. Pilot. Well, some people would question that. And retired Delta Airlines captain. I was a pilot there at Delta for 35 years. And joining me, and I'm so happy about it, from his Garden View studio,
in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire,
retired professional dog photographer, former RAF fighter pilot, a retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hello again, Captain Jeff. Hi there, Liz. Great to be back on. Thank you very much indeed. Now, the show number today, 708. Now, last week we did 707, which is, of course, the iconic American Boeing four-engined airliner. But 708 relates to November 708, Papa Alpha, which was the very first Boeing 707 ever built. First flying in December 57, so that was the first actual 707 after the Dash 80 series of the prototypes. It was purchased by Pan American, the launch customer for the 707, after Boeing had completed flight testing using that aircraft as a flight test machine. Sadly, they called it Clipper Constitution. But as it was named, it came to grief in 1965 due to a navigational error. The aircraft was destroyed when it flew into high ground called Chances Peak. So they were taking their chances on the island of Montserrat while on a bad weather approach, trying to land at Coolidge Airport and Antigua. Killing all 30 on board. How sad.
That is sad.
Just par for the course.
Quite typical for your show number introduction.
With a number, that's usually all you get is crashes and death and destruction.
I know. That's why we're always excited when we don't have any of that stuff. Anyway, speaking of excited, we also have from her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, a retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer. It's Liz Piper.
Here I am. And yes, he does have his recorders on, everybody. So you can breathe easily. It's all
I guess you didn't hear
good.
me say that before we started the intro. But anyway,
I just want to make sure that they're not just worried.
Recorders are
now
on.
they can focus on the quality content that is coming up.
Good luck with that.
Have a good show.
Cheers, Liz.
Okay. She cut herself off
There
again.
she was. Gone.
Yeah. All right.
I did
And,
not. Did I cut myself off?
Yeah, you did.
I intentionally lingered longer.
Well, you didn't linger longer enough.
Okay. All right.
All right. So let's move on and do some news. What do you
Let's
think?
do it.
Definitely.
Stand by for news.
All right. Well, this first one involves a very not common scenario, an occurrence, accident, and very sad, actually, very much so, because there was a loss of life. And this happened just about a week ago, not quite a week ago, on May 8th, 2026. Frontier Flight 4345. They were performing a flight from Denver to Los Angeles, and they were rolling for takeoff from runway 17 left. This was at night, late, when the aircraft struck a person that was walking on the runway. Yes, a trespasser of the airport was walking on the runway. The individual received fatal injuries. One of the aircraft engines caught fire, the one that hit him. Smoke filled the cabin rapidly, and pilots directed an evacuation. So let's take a look at this video, shall we?
Let's do it.
Frontier Flight 4345, Denver, RNF to Go Rock, runway 17 left, clear for takeoff. RNF Go Rock, 17 left, clear for takeoff, Frontier 4345.
This is via VAS Aviation, using sound recordings from ATC app.
Dollar, Frontier, Frontier 4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody, we have an engine fire. Frontier 4345, I see that.
Can you imagine what the tower guy is thinking? Like, what?
I just feel so sorry for the people
Tower Southwest 2921, left base for 16 left.
that had to witness this.
He probably saw the fire. He probably didn't see the person.
No.
Skywest 5612, just hold your position. Skywest 5627, just hold your position. Skywest 5627. Southwest Frontier 4345, I'm going to be rolling the trucks now. Can you know, the souls on board and fuel remaining?
They all seem rattled.
All right, 4345, we have 231 souls on board. We have 21,320 pounds of fuel on board. There was an individual walking across the runway. Okay, we are rolling the trucks down. Op 7, runway 17 left. 231 souls, we're rolling the trucks now. Tower, I know you're busy. Southwest 2921, are we cleared to land? 16 left. Southwest 2921, yes sir, runway 16 left, to land. Cleared to land, 16 left, Southwest 2921. We've got smoke in the aircraft. We're going to evacuate on the runway. Okay. We're having ops and emergency vehicles going all the way now. Op 7, they're about halfway down the runway, 17 left. They're evacuating the runway, the aircraft on the runway.
All right. I think that's probably enough from that one. Have another piece or another clip that is kind of like, I'd call it B-roll, but let me hit play. Warning, distressing content. So if you're watching the video and you are easily distressed, you'll see on the security camera video, the individual walking across the runway. And of course, they cut the video, thankfully, right before he gets hit. 41-year-old Michael Mott was horrifically dismembered after being sucked into the engine of an Airbus A321neo, the Frontier flight. He jumped the perimeter fence. He calmly walked across the runway, was mowed down by the Los Angeles-bound plane at 11:19 p.m. In a news conference, they talk about the medical examiner's office investigation, how the reason or cause of death, which is, I think, pretty obvious. They think that this was a suicide, although that they have not found a suicide note.
But he was a very troubled individual.
This is a very troubled individual for sure. He was a Pueblo native, had multiple run-ins with the law, 20 arrests since 2020. His most recent arrest was for felony trespassing just 1 month before he jumped the fence at Denver International Airport. Plane was on the way to L.A. There's some video from the passenger cabin on the right side, just forward of the right-hand engine, or I don't know if it's forward or aft, actually. But you can kind of see the engine fire on the outside. Now, there's some concern about this emergency evacuation and the fact that many people didn't heed the instructions to leave their personal items on board the aircraft. And in fact, I think in one report I heard, they talked about the fact that 3 men, even though a flight attendant was trying to keep them from going through the door and onto the slide, they pushed past her and actually went down the slide before the slide was fully inflated. And that could have resulted in catastrophic circumstances for those behind them who are waiting and following instructions. So Juan Brown on Blancalirio YouTube channel addresses this, and he was quite upset about this whole thing and the fact that the NTSB, he's pleading with the NTSB to please investigate this and see what are we going to do about this situation where people are just not following instructions. What do you think about all this, Captain Nick?
Well, following instructions, I'm assuming it's a federal offense in the United States. Certainly it's illegal to disobey the instructions of cabin crew, and particularly in an emergency when those instructions are vital in order to ensure that you get as many people safely off the aircraft as it's possible under the circumstances. So it might well be that we need to take some of these people to court, assuming that the airline has made a sufficiently strong case to them and they've informed them without any doubt that they are not to take their personal luggage with them, and that it might result in prosecution. I think that's probably the best way to handle this, because no one wants to face an incredibly expensive court case, even if you don't get a particularly big punishment. The court case would probably get close to bankrupting a lot of people. So, it would be a big deterrent. So, yes, I think we do need to look at it. I mean, I read an article, they're still mentioning things like lockable overhead lockers, but a lot of the luggage is just kept under the seats because that's the approved place to keep some of it. So that won't necessarily solve the problem entirely. And of course, there is the argument that people will try to still get into the lockers even if they're locked. And that will delay the evacuation as well. While people stand up in the aisle, instead of making their way rapidly to the exits, they'll just block the aisle, complaining they can't get their bags out. I don't know. So, it's something that needs to be handled. My personal feeling is that good publicity, make a strong case for the safety aspects and the fact that impeding an evacuation may cause loss of life. And if people realize just how seriously the authorities are going to take it, then I think they will start to behave better.
Well, let's hope. Something needs to be done for sure. I Call Foxes in our live audience says 988 is the emergency helpline for anyone contemplating hurting themselves. Pass it on. Okay.
In the United States.
In the United States, yes, we should be.
I feel, of course, it's absolutely dreadful for everyone involved in this incident. But let's just have a thought for a minute. They probably got a glimpse of this guy, and he disappeared under the wing, and they got an engine failure which they're dealing with. The great majority of suicides using a method of transport as the way to kill yourself affects train drivers. And I don't know about the United States, but it's surprisingly common here in the UK. And for those drivers, it's very immediate for them because they are looking out of the windshield right down onto the tracks and someone throws himself in front of their train. And my son when he used to commute to London, used to have delays probably once a week for a suicide on his one route. So you multiply that by the number of routes there are around the country, and you realize what an amazing statistic it is, and how awful it is for the train drivers. Not really our issue here on an aviation show, but there are people there who have it worse than we do. It's pretty rare. This is the first case I've heard of someone deliberately killing themselves by running in front of an airplane. We've heard of alligators being hit by airplanes, and deer, and dogs, and other things, clobbering kangaroos, getting clobbered by airplanes. But it's pretty unusual for someone to deliberately run in front of an aircraft taking off.
Yeah. I think that here in the U.S., if it does happen, I'm sure it does, but I don't recall really hearing that much about it. But I have all the cases of what you just mentioned, the train operators and people committing suicide. It seems, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it seems like we hear a lot more about that over in Europe than over here in the U.S.
I think probably, we rely on trains for public transport perhaps a bit more.
And
Right.
in Canada, they don't publicize them at all. There's sort of a rule that they think there's a privacy rule or whatever. Like it just, you never hear it really on the news at all. You just don't hear about it.
Yeah, because you don't want to encourage people
Exactly.
by
Give people
reporting
ideas
it, right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, what a tragedy. What a tragedy. All right. I think then we should. Oh, you know what I was going to do? There was one other video I was going to show, just to kind of, probably even shouldn't show it, but this is from the captain's side of the aircraft. Once on the ground. Here, let me hit that button right there. And you can see the damage to the right engine right there. It really did a number on this engine. These engines...
4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody. We have an engine fire.
Okay. These engines are designed to take a certain amount of damage and brunt force like a bird. I don't know what the actual certification guidelines are, but maybe like a 2-pound bird or a 4-pound bird or something like that, but not a 180-pound human. That's overwhelms the engines for sure. And some other people have said, they think that there were some passengers saying that they thought that the aircraft had actually started its rotation when this occurred. And we're not sure yet. We'll get more information about it as the investigation continues. But regardless, it's a very long runway. It's at least 12,000 feet long. And the pilots realized that there was such catastrophic damage to this right engine that they made the, I think, correct decision to go ahead and abort from that point and keep it on the runway. And now we're seeing that was the best decision. I Call Foxes says, I heard a slide was made inoperable due to a passenger deploying it without authorization. Yeah, that may have been the one that I was referring to as well, Tim. The gentleman that refused to heed the flight attendant's instruction to wait until the slide was fully deployed. Anyway, enough of that. I'm sure we'll hear more about this incident in the future. Let's continue on with the next news item, which is, I guess we are going to cover this. This is from NewYorkTimes.com or NYTimes.com. A new NTSB report into the deadly China Eastern crash suggests that there was a struggle in the cockpit. Let's see. This incident, this crash occurred in 2022, killing all 132 people on board. Pardon me?
We did cover it.
Yep, we did cover it. Yeah, I remember. Let's see. For more than 4 years, the final moments of China Eastern Flight 5735 remained shrouded in secrecy, with few clues to a baffling descent from 29,000 feet that left no survivors. Now, new data from the Boeing 737 suggests that the crash was no accident. The plane's fatal dive was a deliberate act initiated from within the cockpit. So it looks like another story about suicide, except this time it was the operator. Following what appears to have been a struggle for control of the aircraft. The plane was operated by highly experienced pilots, been traveling from Kunming in southwestern China to Guangzhou when it plunged almost vertically into a hillside, driving pieces of the aircraft as deep as 60 feet into the earth. Wow. The report by the National Transportation Safety Board shows that the dive began when pilots pressed the cutoff levers. Well, they don't really press them, they move them. Essentially fuel switches for both engines. Yeah, they are fuel switches for both engines on the plane mid-flight. Pressing down the two levers simultaneously stopped fuel flow to the engines and shut them down. Almost immediately, data from the cockpit controls showed the plane entered a terrifying dive and spun in at least one 360-degree roll. The data shows that the control wheels in the cockpit, one each in front of the captain and first officer, were turned to produce that roll. Okay, so they weren't turning them to stop the roll, they were turning them to induce the roll. The herky-jerky back-and-forth movement of the wheels suggests that at least two people were fighting to turn them in opposite directions. That could mean that two pilots were struggling over a single wheel, or that the captain and first officer were pushing in different directions on their own wheels, their own yokes, which are set to move in unison. Obviously, the person writing this article is not an aviation expert.
Does herky-jerky give you a clue?
Yeah, a little bit. And the wheels.
I like herky-jerky.
Yes. And fighting over one wheel? No, They wouldn't be doing that. Okay. Anyway, so more information is in this article. If you'd like to read more, we'll have that in the show notes.
Yeah, interestingly, I did click on the link that says it's supposed to take you to the NTSB report, and that link is a dead link. Like it says you don't have access or whatever. So
I found the same, Liz. It just says you haven't got authority to view this.
Are you not a member of the National Transportation Safety Board, Captains Nick and Producer Liz? Well, then, why are you pressing that link? Stop it.
Because it was there.
Oh, okay.
It's like the button you should never
press.
But it was there.
Yeah. Very.
They're very careful here not to try and claim that they know what happened. It's all supposition and all assumption. So, they're not in a position to be categoric about their thoughts, but it is highly suggestive that this was a deliberate act to bring the aircraft down. So, and this is not the first time that we know of aircraft that have been brought down, airliners in particular, by pilots who have been troubled in one way or another, whether it is an Indian captain with huge gambling debts who took out a lot of insurance, or just someone who's mentally unwell and brings the aircraft down. So, it would be very sad. But on the other hand, I'm not surprised that the Chinese, who are very sensitive to their reputation, have tried to keep this under wraps.
About face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to another.
Do you have
accident.
Did you pull the video of this landing, Jeff? Did you get?
I did, Liz.
I just find that. I hope you should.
It's all queued up. If you'd like to put that on the
have you got
screen?
some whitewash handy, Jeff, for this story?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't.
We might need some.
I think the people in this article or the people that were investigating this used all of it. I think. This is from the Peninsula Qatar or Qatar.com. Interesting. Although this occurred in La Paz, Bolivia.
It was the best one I could find.
And we did. Excuse me?
It was the best article I could find on the subject.
Oh, well, I'm glad you found it. So
yes, good.
We don't care usually we don't care that much about where the article comes from. Although there are some that are a little questionable in my mind. Shingles
doesn't care.
Nor does Jeff. All right. So this from the peninsulacutter.com. Errors, bad weather caused deadly Bolivian military plane crash. And this is an article about the probe into the crash. And you'll recall that this Bolivian C-130 Hercules transport plane crashed after veering off the runway at El Alto International Airport back in February. And you also remember that they were transporting banknotes. And we had some scenes of the frenzied crowd doing their best to collect as many of these banknotes as possible, although the government official did mention that they were not signed, and so they're useless, basically.
They were annulled or something.
Anyway, but we're going to focus more on the aviation aspect of it, not the bad human aspect of it. So the military cargo plane crash in Bolivia that left 22 dead earlier this year was caused by a thunderstorm and errors involving the crew and air traffic control, according to Bolivian Air Force probe report on Thursday. And so the investigation by the Bolivian Air Force Board found that the aircraft with 8 crew members on board did not receive timely communication from air traffic control and attempted to change course due to bad weather. In other words, they were landing in one direction. There was a thunderstorm kind of off the end of that runway, so they decided, well, we're going to approach the airport from the opposite direction and land with a very high tailwind and very unstable weather conditions. And the pilot of the plane landed on the nose gear pretty far down the runway. In fact, I have some video that we can watch of the landing attempt. So here we are. We're seeing it come in, and this type of an airplane, the C-130, coming down at that kind of a nose-low angle is the first red flag in my mind.
And its ground speed, it is hurtling.
Yeah, very, very fast. It's floating. You can see the runway is wet from the thunderstorm in the area. The touchdown on the nose wheel, which is not really an accepted technique of landing, and it continues quite a ways down that runway on its nose wheel. A wheelbarrow landing is what we
keeps
sometimes
lifting
call
up
it.
in the rear.
And finally, the mains touchdown very, very, very far down the runway. And of course, now there's lots of water on the runway. And runways in this area of the world usually don't have very good drainage capability. So there's a lot of standing water. And then the video stops before it careens off the end of the runway. And so now it's obvious why the thing crashed.
The problem I have with this report is that it centers really in a large amount on the air traffic controller. I felt he's been singled out to receive the majority of the blame, and I'm going, no. All right, he may not have been well placed to give the latest weather report, but the guys in the aircraft, they can see what the weather is. They can see the windsock. They can tell what their ground speed is. Why the devil they think that had the air trafficker passed a timely weather report to them, it would have changed the outcome. I think that is, that is a real stretch. So I feel that they were trying to protect the crew from what is looked like egregious error on the approach and landing. Now, it may have been that they were so short of fuel at that point because they've done 5 or 6 of these flights, transporting heavy loads of banknotes, and then they finally. This was probably their last approach. I don't know. I'm not absolutely certain about that. But, they may have been, we're a bit short of gas here. We better get this one down, and left themselves with no option to go around. But this, for me, is just a classic. If you're in these kind of conditions and you're hurtling down the runway with incredibly high ground speed, go around for Lord's sake. But, perhaps they backed themselves into a corner and felt they had to try and put it down.
Was there a tailwind?
Yes, there was a huge
Yes.
tailwind because the normal direction of landing was with a headwind. But again, I think the thunderstorm cell was on that end of the runway, or so they decided to make an approach from the opposite direction.
Does that tend to make the tail lift up like that? Like, is that a contributing factor to that?
I don't think the tailwind really had anything to do with that
okay.
tail lifting up. It was more the fact that they were just so fast, way faster than they were supposed to be, that they were struggling with the normal landing attitude because of their speed. That's my impression anyway.
No, I agree 100%. You see, even with the strong tailwind, if your airspeed is correct, you'd be in a landing attitude and traveling a lot slower. You could have 30 or 40 knots on the tail, but you'll still be able to get the aircraft into a landing attitude. The only reason the aircraft is going to be in that attitude is a missetting of the flaps, which is something that actually affects your attitude on landing, or they're just going way too fast. So they just can't get the aircraft physically down, and it's not sitting at its normal gentle nose high attitude, but still descending. It's in a nose low attitude and refusing to go down to the runway.
Well, speaking of attitudes, I think that this next item here, the British Airways management's attitude for the engineers at Heathrow is probably not a good attitude right now. This from aviationA2Z.com. British Airways $355 million 787-10.
Well, that was an expensive one.
Grounded.
I thought they were much cheaper than that.
That seems kind of high to me.
It doesn't. I mean, you could buy a fleet of them for that.
When I was shopping the other day for a 787-10, I don't remember it being that much. But anyway, the airplane is grounded after this engineering mistake at Heathrow. Refueling oversight,
and this is a classic,
caused portable maintenance steps to puncture the underside of a year-old Dreamliner, stranding Chicago-bound passengers for hours. Okay, so the airplane's there. I guess maintenance, engineering decided that they needed to replace some of the oxygen cylinders. So they go up and they bring the portable maintenance, yellow painted maintenance ladder steps, whatever you want to call it, to make it easier to bring the oxygen cylinders inside. And I'm assuming it must be like crew oxygen, because the almost all airliners now, except for maybe really, really old ones, have the oxygen generator technology over the where you're sitting in the cabin. So they decide they're going to get these steps out and make it easy to open the hatch and get the job done. And they weren't paying attention to the fact that the fuel truck comes up and starts refueling the airplane. What happens is when an airplane gets heavier, when it's sitting on its landing gear on the ground, the struts start to compress and the actual airplane starts lowering itself, and it lowered it. Probably a very insidious kind of thing, but probably nobody really noticed it happening until it did. And the airplane basically settled on these maintenance stairs, and the maintenance stairs punctured the fuselage skin and got stuck there and did a lot of damage. So, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. I think it's a lesson that every person who takes aviation seriously, whether it be a Cessna 150 or the biggest aircraft in the world, or a 787. As you refuel, the oleos in the undercarriage are going to compress down, and the aircraft's going to get a bit close to the ground. So you don't put things under the aircraft that could get crashed or could damage the aircraft, and that's exactly what they did. It seems to me that there were a number of teams working. There was the engineering team, the refueling team, and they weren't coordinating. So the refueler didn't go along to the engineers and say, I'm going to refuel this now, guys. You just take care. And the engineering team just didn't notice, or, so they weren't really doing a lot of talking, and we all know how good it is to talk because this is the way you avoid incidents like this.
Communication is so important. And what I'd like to do right now is communicate that Alpha Juliet has joined us. Welcome, sir.
What?
Hello, AJ.
What? Hello.
Yeah, here he is.
I'm here.
My cat's saying hello.
Yep. Oh, Cap's saying hello continuously, which is nice.
What I missed?
Anyway, so hope you're doing well.
Not much.
We're in our news segment, and we've covered a few items already, and we're about to cover at least one or two more.
Yeah.
So
I did do a little research on the
Okay.
787.
Yeah.
And the list price is in fact $338 million to $355 million, depending on appointments.
Yeah, but nobody pays retail on those things.
No.
Come
Yeah, I
on.
was going to say.
The airlines typically pay discounts up to 50 to 60% less than
Wow.
Ah.
I didn't realize it was
That's a
that
bargain
much.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe 200 million.
And it's
Well-
it's a year old, so the depreciation must be horrendous. And,
Buy 10, get one free.
Yeah, and who wants to buy one with a big hole in the bottom? I don't know.
Oh, you get a special deal on that one.
Scratch and dent sale.
Yeah. All right. This next one is from freightwaves.com. FedEx's MD-11 comeback to start with short cargo flight to Miami. The FAA has been publicly silent about the status of the MD-11 inspections or next steps and has declined to respond to media queries about the matter. But this media outlet decided to report on it anyway, and I'm glad they did because this is interesting. The engine and pylon that separated from the wing of a UPS MD-11 as it lifted off from Louisville Airport, igniting a fire and sending the plane into a close-by industrial park, caused the FAA to ground all of the MD-11s until they did a little bit more investigation on these the engine pylons, etc. They were focusing on fatigue cracks in the pylon bulkhead's aft lug nut. Anyway, the aft lug is subject to high tension because it balances engine torque, weight, and variations in engine thrust, acting as a force stabilizer. Boeing warned MD-11 operators in 2011, way back in 2011, about a broken engine attachment, but never flagged the failure as critical to flight safety. Boeing issued a service bulletin that identified 4 previous separations of the spherical bearing assembly that helps hold the engine to the MD-11's wing. The manufacturer said 2 sections of the assembly came loose on 3 different aircraft. The letter advised airlines to conduct visual inspections of that part at 72-month intervals. So FedEx's standard operating procedure since 2008 has been to do some work and some level of inspection on the engine pylon at every C check, a heavy airframe maintenance check conducted every 2 years, where FedEx had early indications of where it replaced the bearings, and in one case the lug, according to a town hall presenter. Boeing Service Advisory added a detailed visual inspection to the aft lug and bearing every 3rd C check. FedEx officials say they have worked hand-in-hand with Boeing from the beginning to understand the extent of the metal fatigue issue and develop a fix that would allow the planes to re-enter commercial service. And that's noteworthy because FedEx has been the only operator to publicly express interest in flying the tri-engine MD-11 again. In fact, management has repeatedly cast the aircraft's return to service in optimistic terms since late November, while UPS opted to retire its fleet and Western Global Airlines was silent. I guess that's another company that operates the MD-11. FedEx had 29 MD-11s in service, including spares, when the FAA issued the no-fly order. The integrated logistics giant, FedEx, last year extended the phased retirement of the MD-11 from 2028 until 2032, citing the need for more wide-body capacity to meet rising demand as it made a strategic shift to capture more international non-parcel freight from logistics providers. Despite its age, lower maintenance reliability, and high fuel burn compared to modern twin-engine airplanes, the freighter remains highly desired because of its long-range capability and high cargo capacity. Together, FedEx's MD-11 fleet carried 3 million pounds of volume each day. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Anyway, So that's
a lot of rubber dog.
That is quite a bit. And I hear that it's quite heavy, that dog. But apparently. So, but that's good. Good to hear. The MD-11 is not dead yet.
No, not dead yet.
That's a positive.
No, I think it's great. And quite honestly, if it sounds to me like the company and the FAA were both sort of pretty much aware of what was going on and doing their best to ensure that the problem was being managed. They perhaps could have been a bit more aggressive and made the requirements a bit more compulsory rather than, the letters they did put out. But it doesn't look like anyone was really trying to avoid or save money or miss things. It was just a really unfortunate miscalculation.
Yep. Agreed. All right. I think our final news item in our news segment is going to be one where I hand over control of the podcast to Captain Nick, because you'll see why. He might be best suited to cover
But you have
this
some
one.
videos
And I do,
to show, correct?
I do have some videos, yes, that I'll play in the background while Captain Nick tells us about
sounds
this.
Good, Jeff.
Yeah.
This gives me a chance to blow the Royal Air Force's trumpet a little, because there was a historic mission flown down to a tiny island in the it's in the Atlantic Ocean, about southwest or west southwest really of the southern tip of Africa. So it's a long way away, called Tristan da Cunha. Is that right? Christian da Cunha. Anyway, it's in the South Atlantic Ocean. And its closest landmass away is about nearly 2,500 kilometers away, the southwest coast of Africa. It's a volcanic archipelago. And it's part of the British Overseas Territory of St. Helena, Ascension Island, and Tristan da Cunha. The main island is the only inhabited island in this small archipelago, but it is so small and it has a damn great big volcano in the middle of it. So there's no where to build an airport, and there really is, with only 250 people living on it, it's not viable for them to go to the expense of building an airport. So it's served by ships that come and sort it out. So when a very nice chap was taken off the cruise liner that we've probably all heard about in the news with a severe illness caused by the virus that had broken out, the hantavirus, on board this ship. He was taken to the island where he lived, and sadly, he during his isolation there, he contracted this illness, and the island has got quite limited medical facilities, and in particular, since there are two types of this virus. There's what they called, let me think about it, an old version and a new version, old world version, that's right, which, doesn't really have too many issues that he was suffering from. He was suffering from the New World virus, which does affect the lungs, amongst other things. So he needed a lot of oxygen. And the small hospital in the island was quickly running out.
I mean, I think the population of the island is only like 211 or 216, so it's not a big population. Yeah.
So they needed some urgent medical assistance. Now, the RAF leapt to this, and considering the distance, it was a pretty good mission to fly. They got an A400, which we have a few, and they got a Voyager tanker, which is basically an A330 that I used to fly, and the two of them set off to fly down to this island. Now, they stopped off at Ascension to refuel, and then carried on the relatively short distance, only another 3,000 miles from Ascension to get to their destination. All the time, the A400 transport aircraft, a propeller-driven thing, it's not terribly fast, but it certainly is a very useful tactical aircraft, was taking fuel from the Voyager tanker. And then when they arrived over the island, a team of Pathfinders. Now, the Pathfinder parachutists go back to World War II, when they were sent in to areas where they were expecting, the military forces were expecting to land. Possibly they were there to set up landing zones and rough airfields and things. So the Pathfinder force was considered top-notch, very skilled at what they did. And it was the same force that, albeit a modern version, that did the parachuting down. Now, a couple of them, they jumped out, but two of them did a tandem jump with a doctor and a nurse, specialist critical care medical experts. And these personnel were also part of the military, but they weren't qualified to do the parachuting. So they went with two of the Pathfinder parachutists in a tandem setup. And they dropped out at about 7,000 feet above cloud, I noted. So that was quite interesting because they couldn't really see their landing zone until they had dropped several thousand feet and penetrated this layer of cloud. And then when they popped out, I'm sure it was designed this way, they popped out about 3 miles over the ocean away from the coast, and they thought about what might happen if they got blown out over the sea, and they had dinghies and things there to give them aid, but they didn't need them because they planned their parachute descent perfectly so that they would land near the town that's there. And then the A400 went round again once they were safely on the ground and dropped all the supplies they needed, 3.3 tons of vital medical cargo and oxygen cylinders on 3 runs they did to drop all this equipment out. And the resident who was ill, who was identified as former police chief Conrad Glass, got the assistance he needed, and we'll hope, of course, that he recovers successfully. There were 4 other Tristanian residents who had been on the same vessel, and they were placed in 45-day preventative quarantine on St. Helena. Over the huge distance that the aircraft had to go, it's just really a fantastic indication of how military refueling and modern aircraft can cover these enormous distances to not necessarily go and engage in military combat, but in this case to perform life-saving operations so that they could keep this one chap going on this tiny outpost of the British Empire.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you with the noise of this second
That's all right.
point of view or POV from the parachutist's camera, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the volume down to a reasonable level. So let me hit play.
I'll put my fingers in my ears.
Oh, okay. That'll help. Everybody that's watching this live, the video, go ahead and put your fingers in your ear. Okay, wait. So let me see if I can get this thing rolling and then adjust the volume. Let's see.
There's a lot of shouting and screaming. I don't think they're actually screaming. I think they're just giving commands, and it's very noisy.
Yeah, very noisy inside the airplane. But but now
I can't hear you guys anymore.
So here we go. As Captain Nick mentioned, they were over the ocean when they popped out of the clouds, and now we're seeing them approach the village or town of St. Helena and touchdown. But
Tristan to Cunha, not St.
Wow.
Helena.
That was
He stayed on his
crazy.
feet. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say, Liz? That was not St. Helena?
It's not St. Helena. It's
Oh,
Tristan
that's...
da Cunha.
Oh, Tristan da Cunha. Oh, see, I thought that was the name of the town. Sorry.
No, that's another island.
That's where they put the other
island.
4 people who came off the vessel.
My apologies.
But it was a really nice story, and I tell you what, and when you see, if you get a chance, take a look at the videos on YouTube or whatever, and whack them up to full size, because they're very good quality, and it's really quite remarkable to see this operation being performed.
Yeah, what an amazing mission that they embarked upon to save the life of one human, which is pretty impressive.
That is pretty amazing.
And they're going to have to wait for a boat to come home.
Yeah, we were talking about this before we started recording the show today, that, they jumped in, parachuted in, and I guess they're going to have to, since there's no airport there, they're going to have to, ride a boat home eventually. Yeah, so.
They could swim.
Yeah, but they'd have to be really, really good swimmers.
has a comment.
We do have a comment from our live audience, from Mazuz Karim, Dr. Karim. There are probably some unemployed oxygen techs from Heathrow who could go and help. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Good point.
Well,
maybe.
made, yes.
That's funny.
I do have one question. Do you think we could fit another 1 or 2 propeller blades on the A400, though? I don't think it has enough.
No, I don't think so either.
A lot of propeller blades on each
It does
one
look.
of
It does look very fascinating. They're a really wacky shape, aren't they? I love that retreating blade tip to try and prevent it going supersonic at high speed. It's,
I will say that
stuff.
Having seen a A400 in person, they're pretty impressive aircraft. They flew one into Oshkosh a few years ago, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, the only thing wrong with it, it's got the tail of I don't know what, but it's the biggest tail. I thought the F3 Tornado had a big tail, but that tail is enormous.
You guys are always looking at tail.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's it. I don't know if I
people
like
like
a big
tails.
tail like
I cannot lie.
But Nick, back to your commentary. The tankers that flew with this guy are equally the heroes in this thing, right? I mean, they don't get the...
Oh, the tanker boys. Yeah, we like tanker boys because when you need gas, they're there, and they can pass
gas.
it. They pass gas
they're
a
the
lot.
experts
Yeah, passing gas. Yeah. I don't know if I'd have found it a very exciting job, but to be truthful, they do an awful lot of the planning in these missions, and the tanker is often the leader of the mission, and everyone just follows along behind like a mother duck and their chicks. So, in fact, that's the nickname of all the little airplanes normally that sit behind a tanker, and their chicks.
I didn't realize that the RAF had one single solitary air refueling tanker.
More than one.
That's what the internet says.
What?
Oh, well, the internet's wrong. Because I've seen at least one more that is dressed up in fancy colours, a Voyager. I think
RAF.mod.uk. Voyager is the RAF's sole air-to-air refueling tanker.
Well, do
First
they mean
words on the page.
That fleet?
Well, yeah, they mean
Is the Soul
that
tanker?
model of plane is.
Yeah,
the
that
Soul
model.
field.
I don't think
know.
it's just.
I just read you
one.
So they're not
the
using
specific word.
C-130 or whatever. Anyway,
I don't know. Quite honestly, I'm not in the Air Force anymore.
There must be some people in our live audience that can help us out with that information. Maybe some of you who live in that part of the world, residents of that particular country, can let us know if that's true or not. But in the meantime, we're going to do this.
I'm reading it here.
I was going to say, you're going over there. You can do some research.
I could do some research. And look at that. Our little kitty cat from Captain Nick has frozen.
Oh, yeah.
And so has Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
how we
whatever
know.
research you're doing on the internet there obviously was just too much. Okay, now everything's moving again.
Okay. Well, I can read here. They've got 2 types of Voyager, the KC Mark II and the Voyager KC Mark III. And in May 2014, 9 aircraft have been delivered, completing the core fleet. further deliveries for a surge capability available to the RAF when needed. But otherwise, their tanker for a release to the civil market, blah, 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 blah. So I think they're going to, by March 2016, all 14 Voyagers have been delivered. Yeah. So they've definitely got more than one, unless they've flogged them all to other nations.
So it's one type of air-to-air refueling tanker, not one airplane.
There's one in a fancy livery with
I read it. They
mistyped all over it.
Well, I mean, you misunderstood their
It's a comprehension thing.
Made. Yeah.
Okay, let's get to know us then, and then Captain Nick can do his, and then he can go to bed.
Oh, I can go to bed. Yeah, can I be first?
Yep.
Yeah. So, getting to know us, that segment of the show where we get all caught up with what's been happening with the hosts that are currently on the episode. This one in particular, 708. And since it's getting quite late for Captain Nick, and he's going on a field trip tomorrow with Captain Nigel, Hong Kong Nigel, which we hope to hear more about next week on the next episode. But so go ahead, Captain Nick, you're on.
Absolutely. Well, not a lot has happened this week of any great import, so I've been prepping for this trip and looking after a bad back because I've had a bit of a flare-up there. But my lovely masseur in the village is doing her best to soothe the aches and pains, which is rather nice. So thank you for that, Bo. Right. I was going to just crack on with the artwork. So we've got the site of a disastrous impact between a retreating set of undercarriage bogies and a lorry full of, you would call it a van or a truck or something?
Yeah, transport
full
truck.
of bread.
We call them 18-wheelers.
A semi.
I got to tell you, that is a crummy picture.
It is. That would have been another one I could have added. But and across it are all of the suggestions for show titles that relate to this incident, which we covered last week. So we've got Poor Roll Performance, Breadstick the Landing, Just Trying to Earn a Crust, No Loafing on Landing. That'll cost some dough, and we need a new approach. And the title, K-N-E, as in kneading the bread. The title was Breaking Bread. I think the original was Breaking Bread on the Turnpike, but I thought I shortened it a little bit to make it. Yeah, it is like Breaking Bad. Yes, very good. And now, if you want to find the logo, you look in the bread there that's embedded in the truck, and you see an upside-down logo there. Well done, Liz. And there's also the penguin. Hooray, the penguin's on the roof going, that was lucky.
Wheel just missed
me by that much.
Wow, life is very exciting when you're a jackass penguin. And finally, I thought I made a reasonable effort of hiding the show number this time, and it's on the bumper at the back. What do you guys call that bumper on a vehicle in the States?
Yeah. A bumper.
You call it a bumper? Yeah. Okay, it's on the bumper, like a number plate. And there it is in the middle, APG 707. So just down, just stop in the middle of that there. That's where it is, 707.
I got it.
That's it. So it's not very, it was well camouflaged, that one. Yeah,
very
exactly.
good,
So,
Captain Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Nice one.
Yeah, we had some other good suggestions, but quite honestly, that
this was the
that
one.
Poor bloke in the bread truck, he took the biscuit, and the bagel, and the croissant. So well done, mate.
Was definitely
and
not.
thank you all for letting me on the show and letting me disappear a little early today.
Give
So
our love to
Absolutely.
Nigel. Give
Well,
our love to Nigel.
Yeah, give our love to
Give a big
Nigel.
kiss.
Sure.
And
I won't give Nigel a big kiss, no.
look forward to seeing you in a few days.
That'll be great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to make sure I've got enough wine and coffee in. So, yeah,
Perfect.
That'll be super.
All right.
And also, of course, looking forward to seeing Tanya, and I think I might get a chance to spot Dr. Steph at some point. But, that'll be great.
Very good.
So look after yourselves.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you very much indeed.
Good evening, Nick.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
AJ
good.
next.
Yeah. So, AJ, what have you been up to, sir?
Just did a little flying over the weekend. Got a cool picture that I've been trying to get for a while, which is right over the top of Hartsfield. So I think that kind of came out pretty cool.
Yeah, did you have like a really long pole with a camera at the end of it? How did
yes, it was tremendous. It kind of did a little weird things with the aerodynamics as well, but it was like 60, 65, 70 feet long.
Well, who was in the other airplane?
There was no other airplane. It was on a pole. You just said it's a selfie stick.
Yeah, well, I know. That was a joke, though.
Oh.
Or I thought. Maybe not.
So in the other airplane was our maintenance director, Stephen. You know Stephen?
Oh, yes, Stephen.
And Skylar from work.
Oh, yeah.
What a great name for a pilot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very good. Beautiful.
And so got to go down there and drop that airplane off on Friday and pick it back up yesterday. So a little more maintenance work done on it for the avionics stuff.
Okay.
And other than that, just working and cooking.
Work. What have you been cooking lately?
Did some steak, did fried chicken. Fried chicken was good. Did a bunch of fried chicken on Tuesday.
Southern fried chicken.
Mm-hmm. Extra crispy. Yeah, kind of normal stuff.
Okay.
Did a cottage pie.
Ooh.
Nice. Like it.
That sounds good too. Now, cottage pie, is that the one that has like the pastry crust on top?
No, it's
just like shepherd's pie, but with beef.
Yeah.
Oh, so we were having
shepherd's
that discussion earlier, weren't we,
lamb.
Liz?
We were, Jeff. We were saying
about
how
what people call shepherd's pie actually is not shepherd's pie, because if they're using beef, right? That's not a shepherd's pie. That's a cottage pie.
Cows don't have shepherds.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Shepherds equal
Wonderful.
sheep. Yep.
All right, very good.
Captain Jeffrey.
Thanks, AJ. Good to have you with us. And me, I've just been doing the old, I've been singing kind of thing.
I'm singing!
Editing the show, and pretty much it. Not a lot of stuff happening, but I am getting excited about getting things ready for traveling over to to jolly England to meet up with Captain Nick and stay with Captain Nick and his lovely wife Jilly, and we'll see some other members of the APG community while at Casa Anderson, and then that'll be earlier in the week, probably Tuesday arrival. And then on Friday, Captain Nick and I will get in his, what does he like to call his little roadster, Liz? The Red Lady?
The Red Lady, yep. Mm-hmm.
And we'll head up to Duxford and take part in the wonderful celebration, 600 episode celebration of the...
I think you might be taking the Volvo, because isn't Tanya coming along with you?
Oh, okay. Well, Liz is saying maybe he'll be utilizing the Volvo and not the Audi. So I don't know. But anyway, be riding in surface transportation up to Duxford.
Tanya can just sit up in the back between the seats like a parade.
Yeah, Tanya can. Yeah,
it's a convertible.
Yeah, you can sit on my lap, Tanya.
So Jeff, is the plan that you will do a show from
Anderson
Manor?
The plan is that we will record a show at Anderson Manor, and I'll do my best to keep Captain Nick from knocking over any bottles or glasses of beer on the equipment. I'll try to keep my equipment, electronic podcasting gear, to a minimum
keep it
elevated.
Jeff.
Pardon me?
Keep your powder dry. Yeah.
I'll try to keep my powder dry. That's another thing I need to add to the list. I need to bring my powder.
Right.
Anyway,
can you take powder on an airplane?
Well, it depends on what type of powder. Talcum, I think, is accepted.
I feel like there's a lot of powders that you can't take on an airplane.
Yeah, there are a lot of powders that probably they frown upon. Anyway, so yeah, we look forward to that next week.
Keep you posted on the timing of that.
We'll keep you posted. Liz will keep you posted if you follow us on social media.
Are you wanting to do like a regular show, but maybe a short one?
I don't know. Look at us do our pre-show planning right now while we're recording a live episode.
Well,
look at us.
When am I going to talk?
I don't
to
know.
You?
I think we're going to do like a regular episode. I don't know.
I thought maybe you want to do a short.
Unless you want to just take the week off, and then we'll just come up with something else. I don't know.
To do a short show, like an hour or something.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
Not sure. Really haven't thought that far ahead. I mean, you know me. I'm not really going to think about it until like the day of. Tanya said what?
Tie her to the roof.
Oh, tie her to the roof. Okay. Sure. All righty. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for me. So I guess we can end this action-packed getting to know
now they
segment.
know us.
Yeah. And I guess why don't we just do a quick coffee fund announcement, just in case somebody out there might want to contribute to our show financially.
Johnny, how much more coffee? No thanks.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
Yeah, somebody could have won the lottery or come into a big inheritance or something.
Yeah, if you're listening right now and you just won like the lottery or you just received a huge inheritance, well, just think about us little poor peons doing this lowly aviation podcast thing. Keep us in mind, if you don't mind. No, really. We do this because we love doing it, and we're not doing it for the money, thankfully. But if you're somebody who wants to contribute to the show and kind of take a little ownership in it and give us some value for the value that you receive, or at least pretend that you receive, a couple different ways to do it. That's called the Coffee Bar Club or the Coffee Fund. And the number one, the OG, well, not the number one, but the first way, the OG was the classic method, which is basically a PayPal contribution site. And the other way is to become a patron of the show via patreon.com, where you pledge a certain amount per episode. And yeah, that helps out a lot and gives us motivation to continue. So if you're thinking about it, head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did. We will too.
All righty.
Let's do some feedback, shall we? I'm going to hit this little button right here.
Captain, incoming message.
Let's start off with this piece of feedback from, what is he calling himself now? I Call Foxes, or also known as, a.k.a. Tim Van Raam. The title of his feedback, Fly Delta Jets. First officer's dad pays homage to Delta with field art. Field art, okay. Greetings, Airline Pilot Guy and everyone, sharing this article from Delta Hub News. Pretty cool article that features a rice field near Sacramento, California. Visible from the air is, quote, Fly Delta Jets, carved out of the field. So let's see. Delta First Officer Amanda Voigt's family history is deeply rooted in farming, crop dusting, and aviation, so it's only fitting that the Seattle-based A220 pilot who joined Delta in August 2023, nearly 100 years after the airline's own humble start as a crop dusting operation. Yeah, it's very fitting. So let's see, there's a caption to the picture of the Fly Delta Jets in the rice field. It's First Officer Amanda Voigt's family history is deeply rooted in farming, crop dusting, and aviation. Sound familiar? Yeah. That's Delta's origins. It was only fitting that the Seattle-based A220 pilot joined Delta in August 2023, nearly 100 years. I thought we just read that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, as a crop dusting operation, Huff DeLand Dusters, the Delta connection recently reached its peak when Voigt, I don't know, Dad Jeff, I like that name, carved Fly Delta Jets into the family's 900-acre rice farm in Sacramento, California, an homage to his daughter, easily visible to anyone flying over. Each letter is larger than a football field. Wow, that's big. Ever since I started flying, my dad has always supported me throughout my career and helped me achieve the next big thing, she said. It's really special seeing the sign come to life and flying over it for the first time. The family aviation journey began with her grandmother, who in turn inspired Jeff and Amanda. Jeff Vogt is a commercial pilot at another airline for 28 years. Took a shine to flying after being around crop dusters on the family farm. Amanda fell in love with aviation while traveling the world with her family and started working toward her pilot license at age 15. While Delta expanded passenger service in 1920, expanded its crop dusting to passenger service in 1929, a piece of the airline's agricultural legacy now lives with, you guessed it, the Voights. In 2020, the family came upon a Boeing Stearman, once used by Delta for mail delivery and crop dusting, an aircraft Jeff had been a fan of. Okay, there's a picture of it in our video, and we'll include in the show notes. By the way, I don't know, did they talk about it in this article? I haven't read the whole thing, but the name of the airline Delta comes from the Mississippi Delta region of the United States, the southern United States. The Mississippi River travels through several states in our country, but the Delta that the company was named after is in the southern portion where, I guess, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana.
I don't think it's up in Tennessee. I think it's farther south than that. It's like Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana.
Oh, you mean technically the Delta region?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mississippi for sure. Mississippi, Arkansas, maybe not Arkansas, but Louisiana down toward the Gulf. But anyway, so that's its namesake, comes from that agricultural heritage. Anyway, great article. And there's a very nice picture of Amanda and her father, Jeff, also included. So
that's when she's getting her wings, I think. There.
Check it out. Yeah, it looks like that's when she got her wings from Delta Airlines. I don't think we had a ceremony like that when I got my wings. Oh, well, they just mailed them to me or something. Okay, let's continue. Not that I'm bitter. With this next piece of feedback from Captain
He's not going to be
Puneeth.
happy with a short show. This I'm going to let.
Oh, yeah, I know. So, dear Captain Jeff and APG crew, just realized that it's been almost 2 years since my last feedback. Time flies indeed. Yeah, where have you been, man? I wanted to leave you an audio feedback, but we have two very excited little girls and a dog always running around the house, making it difficult to hear my own thoughts. So I figured an email would be a better idea. Okay. The year so far has been a busy one, but I've managed to catch up on most episodes pre-2021, the year I discovered your podcast. Okay, very good. So he's got a little touch of that APG syndrome, I think. Anyway, he said he started from episode 150, quite a few episodes missing in the database, sadly. Oh, okay. I should probably mention well, I'll put this in the show notes, but there is a way to get all of the episodes going all the way back to episode number 1, and it's on a different site, but you'll be able to find them all. They're still archived there. Okay,
they're not lost. They're not lost.
There's some limitations on the way an RSS feed works and how many a lot of these companies that host our files. What determines how many that they have in their lineup. So it's nothing that we have control over. So, but there's a way. There's a solution. Anyway, he said, I must say it's just lovely to see or hear how things started and how the one-man army, Captain Jeff, recruited his crew to make his already interesting show more fascinating. I was particularly amused how Captain Nick flooded your inbox with feedback and prophesied that he would be taking over your show in one of them. Yeah, I've kept him from doing that so far.
Barely.
So, barely, yeah, I know. One way to take care of that is to boot him off the show like we just did.
Yeah,
so he's no longer here today. Yeah, to go to bed. Yeah, so we keep it late so we can't, have him take over our show. Let's see. Continuing on with Captain Puneeth's feedback, I must say that the show has come a long way, but I miss those music segues between news items you used to play in your earlier episodes. Oh, and I definitely miss the rickets. The rickets were the cricket sound that we play when Captain Rick, Miami Rick, would really get into his technical
Yeah.
You'd get into the zone.
Yeah, he gets into the Rick zone, and so we started playing those rickets at a certain point where we're out of respect for him and his knowledge. But anyway, I think Liz is putting up on the video screen the Wikipedia. It's just the aviation encyclopedia. Anyway. And as far as the segues between news items, that's, I think, back in the days when I wasn't really doing live video, and I don't know, I just interspersed
You're
little
filling time,
music bumpers and filling up time with little
maybe we
music
need that today.
segues.
We should fill up some.
Maybe I should do that for the audio only version of this show. Anyway, sorry, I'm not doing those anymore. He continues, I noticed that since June of 2025, the length of each episode has been reduced significantly. What happened? It's my sincere request that you don't pay attention to the haters and return to the 3-hour format. Okay, well, so I guess I should do some explanation there.
Yeah.
It's not only the people that complain about
yourself.
3-hour shows, and obviously, or not obviously, but honestly, very few people ever complained about the length of the show. I mean, a few did, but the haters. But most people actually are like you. They want the longer episodes. But basically, any time that we go over 2 hours, so however long we're recording the original content of the show, you can multiply that by 2 or 3, and that's the amount of time it takes me to edit all this stuff. And
it takes me a long time to put it together.
And to be honest, we used to receive a lot more feedback in the day than we do now. Yeah. And so it was kind of an idea that I had that maybe let's throttle it back a little bit and make my workload a little bit easier as well, because, we do this each and every week. So, so I decided to try to aim for about a 2-hour show length. So I guess, you can do like what you've been doing and look for those earlier episodes and fill your heart and soul and mind with the APG that way. Okay. Let's see. He continues, I want to thank you once again for your show and let you know I look forward to every episode, wishing everyone fair weather and favorable winds. Yours truly, Captain Puneeth. P.S. Episode 176, around the 1 hour mark, was the word you were looking for, asbestos? Yeah, that was it. I remember that.
I know that's been gnawing at you.
It has
for the last 10 years.
Been, and I don't really have any idea what he's talking about. And I probably won't go back to 176 at the 1 hour mark. Well, yeah, actually now I might, just because I'm curious now.
You didn't have me in your ear then, Jeff.
Yeah, I didn't have Liz. So yeah, that's Liz's right now. You're on the audio podcast. You just heard what she said. And the video, you don't, because she's on a private back channel, we like to call it, communications. And so Liz will be talking to me in the background, and she can tell, she's gotten pretty good at this, when I'm looking for a certain word, and then she'll just start spitting out, not spitting literally, but she'll be like saying words and trying to help me out with my vocabulary, which, at times is not very good.
It's just your memory, I think. You can't pull it up.
My memory? I don't know. Who is this talking to me right now? I don't even know who you are.
I don't know. Why are we
Where
here?
am I?
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway. If Liz were on, what episode did you start with, Liz?
Oh, golly, I don't know. But
do you remember what number?
6 or 7 years ago. I don't know.
I know that about episode 150 was right around the time where Miami Rick and Dr. Steph joined me. And went from solo to panel.
I wasn't on at 200, but I think
no, you weren't on at 200, but sometime between 200
was
and
300 when you went to Dana's? Was that 300?
Yes.
I think I was on then. I think I was on then. I think.
Okay. Well, anyway, she's been an immense help for me and an amazing addition to the panel and the crew. So
thanks,
I'm glad she's there now to shout out, asbestos.
Yes.
And I don't know why she keeps yelling.
I just say it randomly every now and then.
She just says it randomly. Anyway, so nice to hear from you, Captain Puneeth, and hope that you don't wait another 2 years to send us more feedback. And I'm hoping that my my answers and explanation for everything was suitable. And again, I'll try to remember to send you a private message to give you the link that you can find every single episode that we have recorded since episode 1.
And just to reiterate, people can send in more feedback.
Oh, yeah. And also, Liz is saying, to reiterate, it would be helpful for her and all of us, for you all to send us more feedback. All right.
We like it.
Here we go.
Okay, speaking of
On the next one, Ant Pruitt. He sends us feedback every now and then. We do appreciate that. He's a professional
I've always liked that
podcaster.
Ant Pruitt.
Ant is awesome. He said, got a number for you to write down. Uh-oh. Did I do something wrong, Ant? Hello, beloved APG crew. Hope you're doing well. I'm unbelievable, as always. Well, I'm not sure I believe that.
No.
Boom.
It's hard to believe.
I know. I've been listening. You might even say incredible. I've been listening to all of the recent reports about aviation incidents, pilot deviations, as well as how you replay the ATC audio regarding the incidents. A lot of them include ATC passing along a phone number for the pilot, as if, quote, dude, you done stepped in it, and we're going to tell your mama and daddy. Yeah, I know. You always feel like you're in trouble when they say that. He says, I'm Southern, so yes, my grammar is correct. I never questioned it, Ant. Never. Let's see. He continues, the ATC regularly handing out phone numbers made me wonder about a few things. 1, when a pilot calls the number, does he or she get the opportunity to tell his or her side of the story? Yes. As a reasonable human, I'd like to think that not all incidents are due to pilot error or negligence. What if the incident is the fault of air traffic control giving out bad information or inadequate commands? Well, if you ask them, that never happens.
That's never happened once ever in the history of aviation.
Something like the Air Canada versus fire truck incident in New York. Too soon, Ant, too soon. Wasn't that because of poor or miscommunication from ground ATC? Actually, in this case, it was tower. Well, I guess you could include both.
It was both.
Both, yeah. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. No, you're not wrong. We're not going to correct you. Yes, sometimes these incidents occur for many reasons. And yes, you do have the opportunity to explain your version, at least, of what you believe might be the problem that they're requesting more information about. But it's mainly to just notify you in an official way that there's a likelihood that there would be an investigation into an incident or something. It's
an opportunity. That is the opportunity for you to kind of have the first shot at, hey, this is what happened, or this is why that happened, or whatever. Because if you listen to that actual phraseology, it is recommend you call this number. So you can not call the number, but someone more important to the FAA is going to be calling you eventually.
Absolutely. So, and they also
highly encouraged.
They like to use the word also possible pilot deviation. They don't say, hey, for sure you screwed up and you did deviate. They say it's a possible pilot deviation.
Jeff, whose responsibility is it to tell your management? Like, is it your responsibility? Like, does somebody from the FAA talk to the chief pilot's office, or what happens there?
I think that must happen. I have to say that I have had the message delivered to me while in flight, operating a flight, that something happened and that here is a number to write down, and would you please, or as AJ said, we recommend that you call this number after you complete your flight.
Was that in Washington, the DCA
thing? That had to do with my my little alleged violation of a certain airspace around the Washington, D.C. area back several years ago. And so in my case, and this is my own experience, I'm not sure if this works the same way all the time with everyone, but when we got back to Atlanta and were downstairs in the Atlanta Pilot Lounge, an announcement was made that my co-pilot and I should go and visit the chief pilot office.
So they already knew.
they already knew about this. So I'm assuming that that's part of the mechanism, that somebody is notified if you're in a situation like I was at the time, we're working for a company. So I think that's part of the formal process. And not only that, there also the many, if not all, at least here in the United States, have safety programs, the ASAP programs and such, where you not only have the management of your company representing themselves, as well as the union. If you happen to work for a carrier that is the pilot group is represented by a union, you'll have a union representative that are specifically trained and designated to represent the pilot in these kind of situations, and a member of the FAA. And I'm maybe some others, but generally that's the core group of folks who convene and address these incidents and determine whether or not the pilot or anybody else was at fault or whatever. And so
is there a capability of both the FAA and or the airline punishing you? Like, do they have the ability to penalize you? Both of them? Yes. So punishment is usually meted out. Is that the right verb? Meted out. Yeah.
By the regulatory agency here in the U.S., the Federal Aviation Administration. The union representative is basically there to protect you and your career, and the company is there to ensure that anything that might be a concern about what you may or may have not done is addressed in a non-punitive way, but a positive, constructive way, and that usually involves additional training or something like that.
Right, got it.
And I mean, if additional training is appropriate, so that's kind of the basic way everything is structured. And I have to say, in my case, it turns out that if you don't want to go back, it was an actual Catholic pilot episode that I devoted to this whole alleged incident many, many years ago. And it turns out that the conclusion of it was that there was no action. And there were several, what's the word, extenuating circumstances that led to maybe, our right wingtip just basically touching the boundary that defines this restricted area. But there were several factors involved, and I'll try to remember to put a link to this episode if you want to listen to it in the show notes.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, you may ask one more question,
Okay,
Liz.
so if it's a particularly bad incident, like something that, maybe cost some people's lives and stuff, and the NTSB is going to have an investigation and stuff, could the pilot be grounded during that investigation until the results are known? Like, is that something that could happen?
Not only can they be, but as far as I know, most of the time, that's what the company will do. And I probably in an effort to not only protect the aircrew involved, but also to protect the airline as well.
Got it.
And so in my case, when it was determined that this was going to be something that was going to be investigated, they said, Jeff, why don't you just take off the next week or two while we wait for this working group to convene and for them to address the circumstances of this alleged violation. And the nice thing, again, I don't know if this happens in all cases or all companies or whatever, but in my case, it was the flights, the trips that I had on my schedule were removed, and somebody else flew those trips. Same thing for my first officer, and I was paid as if I had actually flown those trips.
That's
so
very decent,
it was pay protected, And again, if a situation occurs where you're being investigated and you may have violated some rule, if for any reason anybody determines, especially the company determines that something was done out of negligence or out of you were determined, you knew what you were doing and you did it anyway, kind of thing. I don't know what the proper term would be. Intentional, yeah. Then it's a whole different ballgame. You're probably not going to be pay protected while you're being investigated, and you'll probably be removed from the schedule. But as part of a just safety culture, the company wants to protect you, and they want to protect themselves, and they know that this is something that's going to weigh heavily on your mind when something because the FAA could determine at some point, we want to take certificate action. We want to, we've mentioned this in our country, we really don't technically have licenses, we have certificates. And the main and significant difference between holding a certificate and holding a license is that it's very, very easy for the regulatory agency, the FAA here in the U.S., to say, we're going to revoke your certificate. And whereas if you had a license, then you'd have more of a legal.
I think more often than not, they actually affect your medical. To get to a point of revocation of your certificate is pretty significant, because to get that back, you have to go to a bunch of check rides.
Right.
More often than not, they'll start with suspending or revoking your medical certificate.
Because a medical certificate is absolutely required to exercise your whatever certificates that you have. But in most countries around the world, other than the United States, people have licenses. And if somebody goes after your license, well, there's a much more involved procedure, and you have certain rights as the license holder, et cetera. Whereas you don't have that many protections here in the U.S. But I have to say, again, in my experience, the FAA is not, they're not going out there looking for blood. They're they're trying to protect the flying public and everything else, and that's understandable.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
The company is trying to protect their pilot resource and also the reputation of the airline, and the union. They're there primarily to protect the pilot and the pilot's career. And the synergy is amazing to see and watch, although you don't really want to be part of it if you don't really need to be. I didn't volunteer to be in this situation, but it turned out to be a good outcome. And, everybody learned a lot from it. In fact, part of the, if you'll refer to the link about my explanation of this whole thing, a new procedure, a new engine out procedure had just been published, and it was a little ambiguous, and it depends on who was actually looking at the procedure, the way they interpreted it, and it wasn't really, really super clear. And so an outcome, or one of the good things, and one of the good outcomes of this whole thing, was the fact that they looked at this special procedure and decided to change it so that it wasn't so ambiguous. And so there was some good that came out of it. I had a couple of weeks off, paid vacation, but let me tell you, it was anything but a vacation. I was not having fun. I wasn't on the beach and in Mexico sipping margaritas or whatever.
Sounds like you did it wrong.
Yeah, I did. Now in hindsight, I wish that I had done that. But anyway, so I'm glad I'm able to talk about it and be open about it and transparent about it. And
going along with what you were saying about it being a kind of a protective and, like you said, a just safety culture, and that safety being the ultimate point. The reason a Brasher warning even exists is for that. Because prior to that, it was from the mid 80s. Was a guy, Jack Brasher, got violated by the FAA like 6 or something months after the incident happened. And he'd flown, he's a professional pilot flying every day, every other day. So hundreds of flights had gone by, and he couldn't even remember the specific flight. So he wasn't able to defend himself well. So that's why they instituted the Brasher warning, is so that it kind of marks points a point in time, says, hey, this is when this incident happened. If you need to go take notes or have whatever conversation, we're going to do it now, not in 6 months when we decide to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Very good. That is a little bit of historical context there to the term Brasher warning that I didn't actually know all about. So thank you very much.
Captain Jack Brasher. What a great pilot name.
Captain Jack Brasher.
Does Ant have more questions?
Yeah, actually, I think Ant did have some more questions, and I think we've already addressed it, but I'll go ahead and read it anyway because he took the time to send it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you all should do as well. But not the same questions that he has, but like different stuff. Okay, number 2. How many times have any of you pilots been told to call one of those numbers? I'm not going to.
Never have I ever.
How many times? What was the issue? Was there disciplinary action? If so, what? No flights for a week? Forced to fly an MD-88 or a 737 MAX for a day? That's not funny.
That's cruel and unusual.
That is. In fact, let me play something that I was playing earlier before we started the recording for you, Ant, okay?
That's not funny.
I think we've got a number for Ant to call, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a number for you to call, Ant. All right, getting back to his feedback. I appreciate your show more than you know. It's always fascinating hearing the different points of view on an aviation news item. It's also fun trying to figure out what the heck retired Captain Nick is talking about with his version of English.
Hey,
he says, just kidding.
I resent that on Nick's
he's
behalf.
Kidding. All the best to you, especially Miss Liz. Oh, especially Miss Liz.
Of course, we love Ant.
We see who his favorite is. Yeah. We in the APG community should probably start a, quote, post-show whiskey or vodka fund for her nerves. Yeah, we probably, I don't know if that'd be a good idea.
I was drinking. I did.
Yeah.
I'd say
also, I think Mr. Alpha Juliet is a great addition to your show.
Wow. Thank you, Ant.
Ant, have you been drinking?
The check is in the mail.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Ant. He is a great addition to our show. And he says, P.S. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm going to emphasize my mantra of do something good for yourself, do something good for someone else, and know that it's okay to love you some you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Love you.
And again, that's from Aunt Pruitt. Thank you very much. Long-time listener and supporter of our show. We love him so much. Yes, ma'am.
In Canada, pilots have licenses or permits. They're actually legally called permits.
Interesting.
I like Neil's point here. Maybe that's just the best pickup line a controller can come up with.
I've got a number for you to call. Towers controller's best chat up line? Yeah.
It's a pickup line.
Or a pickup line.
You're at a bar.
Yeah.
You can see a pretty girl. I got a number for you to call.
Yeah. Hey, baby, I've got a number for you to call. All right. Very good. That was good. A source of good discussion there, Ant. And thank you for asking. Yeah, let's continue on with this from Adam Springmeyer. Hello, APG crew. Thanks for reading as much feedback as you can. I want to brag on my wife as she is progressing nicely on her private pilot certificate. Yay. Look, Adam knew exactly the correct terminology.
Yeah, but get this. She wants to be a commercial pilot. Keep reading.
Yeah, so she has just completed her first solo flight within the last 15 days, her first solo cross-country, and her private pilot written exam. She is well on her way. On her first solo flight, she almost brought home a turkey dinner. Oh. The turkeys crossed her runway while she was on short final. She took her training to heart and performed a great go-around. Yay! Her goal is to fly alongside me at Acme Red, White, and Blue Airlines. Okay, very nice. I've given her some flight instruction when we were dating. And surprisingly...
Poor life choice.
Poor life choice. And yeah, I'm surprised you got away with it. And surprisingly, even after her crying and telling me, "You're yelling at me," after our first flight, we have been happily married for 16 years. I cannot wait to see her progress. As an aside, I remember my former wife, and this has nothing to do with our divorce. This happened very early on in our relationship. She wanted me to instruct her on some of the finer points of playing tennis. I realized immediately that I'm not a very good attendance instructor, and she didn't really take kindly at all to any of my suggestions for her. And so I realized that at that point, don't do that. Don't do that anymore. No, Adam decided he would just continue, and it looks like it worked out. But go ahead, AJ.
I was saying my wife did a Porsche driving experience when I was still with Porsche, and several of the instructors like, oh, that's gonna be so cool. You're gonna get to instruct your wife. I'm like, no, one of you guys is gonna do it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you're a smart man. Very smart man.
Lost your mind.
Anyway, so again, Adam is still happily married for 16 years. Congratulations on that. Let's see. I think I can read this.
Yeah, don't.
Next part.
Well, about the church, I just it's about Captain Steve that I
did.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay, now the church stuff, I've got slides and everything. Go ahead.
I understood. I understand what you were saying earlier. Okay. This next part of the message is more for Captain Jeff. If you want to read this part, share some of the photos. Great. Yeah, we do. Thank you, Adam. Let's see. On my different overnights, I have tried to go to as many Catholic churches as I can. During Holy Week on Good Friday, I could not get to their Good Friday service, but was able to attend the Stations of the Cross. Here at St. James the Greater in Vancouver, Washington, each station was hand-painted by an Austrian painter in the 1830s. And Liz is showing some of the pictures of this beautiful church that we'll have in our show notes. On two of the different stations, the artist added a hidden face on Station 1 and a picture of the devil on Station 7. If you ever take the RVS, maybe you can go to this great church. Yeah, if I'm ever out that way in Vancouver, Washington, I'll definitely do that, Adam. He says, again, thank you for everything you've been doing for our community. Just another aviator, Adam. No, you're more than that, Adam. You're part of our APG community, and we appreciate you and all of you out there as part of our community. And Liz showed some pictures of this beautiful exterior and interior of this Catholic church, and also a couple of the pictures of the what the church calls Stations of the Cross. There are 14 stations, and looks like the artist included some hidden. It's almost like APG show artwork.
Yes, like the penguin
looking at Captain Nick hiding various things in these images, and so we'll call
them Easter eggs or something.
Easter eggs, yeah. But well, I guess I'd be kind of appropriate. He was talking about Holy Week and leading up to Easter. Okay, I see what you did there, Liz. Okay, anyway, so we'll have all that in the show notes. So
it's
appreciate
perfect
that.
to round out the show. Perfect.
Yeah, and finally, this from Brian Mozisek. Politics and government. Huh? Now, you know that we don't do any of that on the show, or we try to definitely avoid it.
I thought that's why I was here.
Yeah, no, that's not why. We're not sure exactly why you're here, AJ, but we're glad you are. So Brian says, I laughed. I'm thinking of using Audible for listening to the podcast. I started looking at how it compared to Pocket Cast. I looked up APG. You are listed in the category of politics and government.
Almost.
Wow. That's weird. Why would anybody list us as politics and government category? I don't know, because that's the last thing we want to do. Again, that's Brian from Katy, Texas. And Liz is showing the screenshot that Brian included, and we're going to also include that in our show notes if you want to check it out. By the way, just a reminder to everyone, it might be too late now because we're getting close to the end of the show, but anytime that we are referring to things like videos and articles and pictures and all that stuff, we include all of that in our weekly podcast, embedded in the meta information on the file is linked to our show notes. And if you're listening on a platform that is like a, what do you call those? Live streaming, not live streaming, but the word escapes me, but like Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and that kind of thing. They don't work quite the same way as like a dedicated podcast client does, like Pocket Casts and Overcast, which is my favorite, and other purpose-built podcast players that have some added functionality, and you can watch as we do our show, include chapter images, not all of the images that we're looking at and talking about, but representative pictures and such in chapter images. So for those of you who aren't privy to that kind of information while you're listening to the audio podcast, please check out the link to the show notes. And also, you can always go back to the actual website, airline. I don't even know the name of my own podcast webpage, airlinepilotguy.com, where you can go and look at the specific episode, and all that information is available to you there. Okay. So there you go. There's your public service announcement. And also, if you go to the actual podcast tab on our website, I have that aforementioned link to where you can find every single one of the Airline Pilot Guy Show episodes, going all the way back to episode 1, where we talk about the crash of the Airbus A330, and the flight number now escapes me. Air France 447. All right. It's time to wrap it up. And we do that by first pointing you to our website, airlinepilotguy.com, where you'll find information about the crew and the community and the community calendar and the APG library by a librarian.
Could they find
Tiffany.
all of the episodes?
They can find, yes, there's a way that they can find all of the episodes. You know what? Here, I'm going to do this while, like in line, live, while we're recording the show. I'm going to click on airlinepilotguide.com, and it's going to bring up that, and I'm going to click the second from the left item on our menu, which says podcasts, and I say right away, before any of the episodes listed, looking for older episodes, you can find them by going here. And then I have a link to the all APG episodes feed, which is captainjeff.libsyn.com/webpage. Again, you don't have to worry about the actual typing all that in. Just go to the podcast tab of the website and click on all APG episodes feed. And there you'll find every single darn one of them, should you be interested.
Another good reason to go to airlinepilotguy.com.
Yes, just another reason to go to airlinepilotguy.com. Yet another, yes. So as I was mentioning, the APG library, librarian Tiffany manages that for us. Thank you, Tiffany. The Coffee Fund, information about how you can contribute to the show if you'd like. APG Store, where I know I keep saying this, but one of these days we're going to get that go. I mean, you could still get like T-shirts and stuff now, but we're going to make that something so much better in the future.
Someday.
And you can information on how to contact us, calendar. I think I mentioned that. So yeah, all that good stuff.
Peter, nudge.
Yeah, Peter. Yeah, we'll talk soon, but I don't know when. Maybe soon. Let's see. Let's now. You know what I should probably do? I should probably find somebody like Alpha Juliet to head up the whole mission to do something significant.
Delegate,
with
Jeff.
I'm going to delegate that, to
Staff.
somebody. Yeah, staff.
No,
anyway,
not the staff.
we're also on social media, and now I'm going to delegate Alpha Juliet to tell us
having to do everything, man. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're the only other one here besides Liz in the background, and then nobody can hear what she's saying.
I thought you were going to clip that thing of Steph's from last week so we could...
Well, I don't know. I think it's more fun to have people like attempt to do it as well as Dr. Steph. So go ahead.
Zero chance of that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for the social media stuff, we are on facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. It's a great place to look. Liz or Jeff usually puts up, pretty much always puts up our most soon upcoming recording. Link is there. Or on X at APG Crew, and Instagram.com/APG Crew, and YouTube.com/Airline Pilot Guy if you want to watch the sausage being made, as Nick says.
And is there like a quasi kind of social media kind of thing where it's a little bit more involved and somebody else is in charge of that? I think his name is Hillel.
Is this new?
That's right. I hear the water in the squeaky valve. Sorry. Haven't gotten to that yet. AJ.
WD-40.
Hello.
Okay, but I'm drifting west.
He must know what I want him to do. Come over here and tell us about Slack.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas, we suggest episode and plain tales topics, we plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel. Say hi to your wife, too, for me. Yeah, okay, good. He's having fun. Also, we'd like to thank our producer, Curator, Liz Piper. Yeah, it's a big round of applause for all the work that she does. The main thing that she does is have to put up with me during the week. And I appreciate the fact that she does. And also, many thanks to our live audience, our live chatters. And most of the time they help us out. Today, not so much. All right, let's end the show by wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibilities, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
You're welcome.
See you next time.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the airline pilot guy.
Good day.
Yeah. Your boy Poker Pilot is back at it again. ORD. You already know. Pin out, head down. Don't miss a call. One shot, one clearance. Sweaty, pen ready, clearance heavy, ground's calling fast, voice sharp like confetti. You blink once, miss a turn, now you're buried. Taxi diagram looking like spaghetti, you ain't ready. Ring road system, Alpha and Bravo like a racetrack. Clockwise counter, but you better not backtrack. 40-minute taxi, yeah, that's normal, that's fact. Trying to dodge a runway crossing, ATC, don't slack. Two-way center, 27 right, welcome to the madness. Join Papa Hedes, Echo, Echo, Golf, Golf. Yeah, you had this. Cross 27 left away. Hold up, traffic stack. Metering got you paused while your patience gets taxed. Construction everywhere. ORD next in effect. Concourse Delta rising, tearing up what you expect. Taxiway shifting routes, getting rechecked. Yesterday's muscle memory. Yeah, forget that. You only get one red back. Don't choke, don't stall. Miss one letter. Now you're talking to them all. Ramp Brown Tower. Yeah, they watch you fall. Penalty, taxi clearance coming long as a wall. You better copy. You better write every letter you get. This airport will bury you in concrete and jets. You only got one shot. Don't you dare forget. That old hair ground control ain't forgiving your mess. You better copy. Diagram lit, pin tight in your grip. One missed call and you're taking the trip all the way around the ring road. Welcome to it. This is ORD. Man, you live or you quit. Runway 28 right, golf, golf, golf through Bravo, Echo, Echo, November. Classic clearance, yeah, you better remember. Spit it back clean, don't stutter, don't surrender. Cause hesitation here, that's a career ender. November, Alpha 10, Bravo, uniform, golf, taxi to Bravo 19. You scribbling fast, trying to keep it pristine, but the ink's running wild and the map's obscene. And you still gotta dodge, heavies rolling between. Charlie 1, Zulu, hold shorter, 2-7, Charlie. Simple on paper, but the flow ain't hardly predictable now. Construction changed the party. What you got yesterday, yeah, today it's gnarly. East flow, west flow, depends on the wind. Taxiways, Mike, Delta, Bravo, Golf, where do you begin? Zulu, Golf, November, Alpha, Papa, spin it again. It's a maze with engines and the clock's closing in. Now they building up terminals, tearing down lanes. Global terminal coming, yeah, they changing the game. Concourse, Echo next, everything rearranged. So the route you knew last week, they ain't the same. Long taxi times, perimeter grind, avoiding runway crossings, just circling blind. And if you miss a turn, you fall behind. Now ATC hitting you with that advice when ready to copy line. And now it's wild. You might park at a golf gate. Used to be rare, now we flexing, no debates. Slide past American like, yeah, appreciate. United moving weight, yeah, we dominate, but don't get cocky. This place humbles quick. One bad red back and you're lost in the mix. Ground's got that tone like you sure about this? Nah, you're writing novels just to taxi your ship. Cat 3 low vis, routes get tighter. Special taxi plans, now the stakes get higher. Lights in the fog, but your brain's on fire. Trying to keep the line moving, not be the one they wire. Pin in your hand, yeah, your lifeline's real. Every letter matters when you spin that wheel. One wrong call and you feel that chill. What D don't care how long you've been at the deal. You better copy, you better write every letter you get. This airport will bury you in concrete and jets. You only got one shot, don't you dare forget that old hair. Ground control ain't forgiving your mess. You better copy. Diagram lit, pen tight in your grip. One missed call and you're taking the trip all the way around the ring road. Welcome to it. This is ORD, man. You live or you quit. Yeah. Pen down, break set, finally part. But tomorrow, same chaos, same game. Yeah. You better be ready to copy.